So here we are on South Confederate Avenue at the Gettysburg National Military Park. We're in front of the Brigade plaque for Law's, Alabama Brigade. Oh, I should point out that this plaque was placed here by the federal government in the early 1900s. This is not a monument. It was not dedicated. It doesn't commemorate the Southern Army. It's an informational tablet. I point that out because a lot of people say there's hundreds of Confederate monuments on the Gettysburg National Military Park, when in fact, there are less than 20 Southern monuments erected by Southern states themselves. Most of the monuments or the markers or tablets to the Southern Army are informational tablets such as this. I wanted to point out that Law's Brigade is kind of one of the more interesting tablets on the battlefield because it talks about what they did on their way to Gettysburg. And I think a lot of times we're so involved in the battle that we forget that things happen before and after the battle to affect the actual troops during the fighting. And if you look here where it says July 2nd, it says left New Guilford, 25 miles distant at 3 a.m. Arrived and formed line 50 yards west of this at 4 p.m. and advanced against the Union positions. Law's Alabama Brigade woke up that morning in New Guilford, which at the time was called Duffield, and it's in Franklin County, Pennsylvania, on the other side of the South Mountain Range. And according to the official report, it was 2 o'clock when they left Duffield. They marched up and over the South Mountain Range, and they marched out across the plain to Gettysburg, 25 miles. Of July 2nd, it was hot, it was humid, and of course, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And they marched to Gettysburg, and then they were ordered to march to the end of the line, and they ended up launching the assault on July 2nd. These men were tired and hungry and thirsty and dirty. There are some other units that marched remarkable distances during the Gettysburg campaign. For instance, the 6th Army Corps marched from Manchester, Maryland to Gettysburg from the evening of July 1st through the early afternoon of July 2nd. Depending on which unit you get the information from or which roads they might have traveled, and some of the units doubled back, they traveled something like 32 miles and 17 hours to get here. The 16th Maine, on their way to Gettysburg, they actually had marched over to Middleburg in Frederick County, and then they marched back to Frederick and marched to Emmitsburg. I think they marched 40 miles in a 24-hour period in one day. So when we consider some of the things that happened during the Battle of Gettysburg, we need to consider how tired, hungry, and thirsty some of these troops are.